Welcome back again. Thank you for joining me. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for all the positive comments left on the last video. I wrote back to every single one of them, and it's really encouraging to see that people are responding to what I'm basically going to be putting out. So moving right along, today is going to be a very exciting day because the next step in building this online business is one of my favorite steps, and that's designing the brand identity, essentially, like coming up with a logo, picking a font, maybe creating a little symbol or something. Many of you might not know that my background is actually in graphic design. So luckily, I will be able to do this entire job myself. For a lot of other people, there are some great ways you can get very inexpensive logos created through the internet. I'll let you guys know what some of those resources are as we do this. Basically, I'm going to screen record while I'm designing my new logo for the MindfulPro, and it's probably going to take me most of today at least, just to get a few sort of options happening. So I'll just keep recording along the way, and maybe you guys will learn something. Maybe you can design your own logo or something. Yesterday I went and sat at a cafe for a few hours and just went and basically just drew lots of little symbols and stuff, just getting ideas out. Moving right along, I'm now going to switch to the screen recording and let's get into it. So the program that I use to design logos is actually Adobe Illustrator. So let me just start that up. There's a whole bunch of programs from Adobe that graphic designers, video editors, photographers would use. So let me just create a new canvas. Just make a big square. So to start off, I like to go through all of my fonts on the computer and see if there's any fonts in here that will suit the logo itself. So I just write the brand name in here in a couple of different formats, and then that way I can see how each font is going to look in all the various different styles. There's my little template, and then now what you do is you just go up here where your fonts are and you just start at the top and you just start clicking through and see if any of them look half decent. Now if you haven't got a lot of good fonts on your computer, which will probably be most people, you can go to some free websites like Font Squirrel, where they've already gone through, like there are a number of font websites like dafont.com and 1001 Fonts. Now these websites have a huge library of fonts. So like, look, this one's got 8,800 new fonts alone. But there's also a lot of really kind of hectic, not really useful looking ones. But Font Squirrel, for instance, they've already gone through these bigger websites and then found anything that's sort of half decent, and then they've put it in here. You can download all these fonts for free, and then you just install them. It's real simple. Like on Apple, you just unzip it and then just double click on the file. Here there'll be a bunch of different variations. You can select all of them, and then you just open it with Font Book. Go install font, and it's in there. So I will now go through all of the fonts on my computer and pick out a little short list. Alright, and so here we have a bunch of fonts that I've chosen now out of my computer's fonts. There's a few that look okay in here, but what you can do in Illustrator is you click on it and then you can go create outlines. And then you've got to ungroup it like this, and what happens is it's no longer actually editable with the text tool, but now you can take each of these items, each of these letters, and move it. And if you zoom right in, you can then just select parts of it and go, cool, you know, what about like that? Or what about like this? And that's how you can kind of turn text into a logo. So next I'm going to do a little bit of a time lapse while I play around with all of these. And I'm also going to try to come up with a symbol that I can couple with the fonts. Alrighty, so now I've basically finished a little short list. Next step is now to create some graphics and see how they mesh in. I've got one really good idea that I had at the cafe that I'm really keen to see how it works. It's a really recognizable symbol and it's not traditionally used for meditation at all, but I think there's a really nice correlation, so you'll see it in a minute. So now I've drawn a few little symbols that I can play around with, and the next step is now to use the text and see whether I can kind of combine it with the little icons in a way that just looks nice, I guess. And then once I get a little bit closer to like a final combination and a final symbol that I've chosen, then I usually still go in and play with colors or gradients or drop shadows and stuff and just do those last little finishing touches. So yeah, now let's play mix and match. So, and we're getting pretty close to some final options here. So here you can see some of the combinations I've come up with over the last few hours. I really like this concept with the power symbol. I just feel like there's so much I can do with talking to people about meditation in terms of it kind of being like a hard reset. You know, it's like pushing that button on a laptop. Everything just kind of works better after you've done that. So if you restart your laptop once a day or restart your brain once a day, you know, it's the same sort of effect. So I think I'm going to cut the video here because this last part is probably going to take me a few days. What I like to do now is basically just kind of marinate on all these ideas, keep tweaking little bits and pieces. Also coming back to it, like going away for a few hours or a day or a couple of days and then coming back to it is always a really good way to sort of bring fresh energy and a fresh perspective to a project like this. But I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope this was interesting for you guys to watch. In case you do not have any graphic design background or the software, what I can recommend is going to one of the following websites. There are a couple of websites I can recommend where you can hire people online to design for you. So there's one website called 99 Designs, and there basically you'll just put up your project and then designers from all around the world will just basically throw their concepts in there and then you get to take your pick, but you don't have to pay for all of them. So that one's a really good one. Otherwise, you can also go on freelancer.com. There's lots of people on there that you can hire all over the world. And a really fun one actually is Fiverr.com, which is like the number 5 with 2 R's.com. Fiverr is all about hiring people for $5 jobs that can be done online. It's an incredible resource. I'll put links to those websites down in the description, as well as to the font website that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, so I'm probably about 75% of the way to my finished logo here, which is great. And I'm so glad that I got to document this and show it to you guys along the way. I actually intend to work on this business for, I don't really know how long. It could be the rest of my life. So if I do end up working on the MindfulPro for the next 30 years or so, and then it'll be pretty awesome to look back one day and see the moment where it all kind of began and became a reality. All right, well, I'll wrap it there. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing, maybe leave me a like or a comment. I love reading comments from you guys and just having conversations with people all over the world about anything and everything. All right, see you guys in the next one.